My name is Claire Ashford Pemberton. I am 38 years old. On March 16th of this year, my husband slapped me across the face in the center ballroom of the Belvedere Hotel in front of 320 guests at my father's annual charity gala. The room was full of city council members, donor chairs, 3 superior court judges, and the editorial board of the Metro Times. My husband thought no one was really watching. He was wrong about that. At 9:47 p.m., while he was apologizing to my father in the coat room, I was in the hotel security office, pulling footage from 4 camera angles, cameras I had personally requested and paid for 6 weeks earlier. Before I tell you what those cameras caught and what I did with the footage, 72 hours later, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, have you ever planned your own exit while everyone thought you were just smiling? I read every single one. Now let me take you back to the morning I made the call. The phone call to Belvedere Events and Security happened on January 29th at 10:12 in the morning. I was in my car in the Whole Foods parking lot. I had just purchased organic strawberries, Greek yogurt, and a bottle of Pinot Grigio. I would open alone that evening after Marcus went to bed. I had rehearsed what I was going to say. This is Claire Pemberton. I'm coordinating the Ashford Foundation Gala in March. I'd like to add supplemental security camera coverage to our existing contract. The woman on the other end was named Shauna. She had a kind voice. Of course, Mrs. Pemberton. What areas were you thinking? The main ballroom 4 angles. I want full facial capture, not just overhead crowd coverage, and you'll need access to a live feed that evening. There was a small pause. That's not typical for a gala mom. Is there a specific security concern? I looked at my reflection in the rearview mirror I was wearing, the pearl earrings Marcus had given me for our 10th anniversary. They were real. The marriage was not. Am concerned about liability, I said. My father's foundation hosts public officials. I want documentation. Shauna said she understood I paid for the upgrade myself. $2,400. I used the Amex I kept in my maiden name, the one Marcus didn't know about. That was the first lie, or the first truth I stopped hiding. Let me tell you something about the moment a marriage ends. It does not end with shouting. It does not end when he raises his hand. It ends in a Whole Foods parking lot. On a Tuesday morning, when you realize you have begun using the word documentation in sentences about your own life, I had been documenting for 9 months. Marcus Pemberton was a corporate litigator at Hartwell, and Crane a downtown firm with 32 floors and views that made clients forget they were being billed $780 an hour. He was intelligent, precise, and performed charm the way other men performed competence, with just enough warmth to seem real and just enough distance to seem important. When we met in 2011, I was a fundraising coordinator for a children's literacy nonprofit. He was the lawyer the nonprofit hired for a contract dispute. He fixed the problem in 6 days, charged us half rate, and asked me to dinner before the ink dried. We married 14 months later. For the first 3 years, I thought I had chosen well. By year 6, I had learned the difference between a man who loves you and a man who loves how you make him look. Marcus loved galas, he loved donor receptions, he loved being introduced as Claire Ashford's husband, Marcus Pemberton of Hartwell and Crane. He loved my father's name, he loved it more than he loved me. I knew that by year 7 I started keeping records in year 9. The records were simple at first, a Word document, password protected, titled Household Maintenance Log, in case he ever saw the file name inside, January 14, 2023. Marcus raised his voice at dinner when I mentioned applying for the development director role at the Ashford Foundation. Called it redundant since I already have access. Dismissed me when I said I wanted to earn the role. March 3, 2023. Told me my haircut made me look severe. Said it in front of his colleague Brian at brunch. Laughed when Brian agreed. June 8, 2023. Found texts on his phone to someone named Simone Professional Tone, but met for drinks twice without mentioning it. September 19, 2023, grabbed my wrist hard enough to leave a mark when I said I didn't want to go to his firm retreat. I wore long sleeves the next day. Small things. You women who have made yourself smaller at your own table already know small things are just the things he knows he can get away with in public. By December, the small things had grown teeth. December 10th. We were hosting a dinner party, 6 guests including Marcus' senior partner Leonard Hartwell and his wife Diane. I had cooked for 7 hours. A standing rib roast, twice baked potatoes, a chocolate torte. I had practiced 3 times that week. Leonard made a joke about Marcus marrying up into the Ashford family. Marcus laughed. Then he said casually, the way men mention weather, "Oh, Claire's got the name, I've got the career." Everyone laughed. I set down my wine glass gently. I did not correct him. I waited until every guest had left. I waited until Marcus had gone upstairs. Then I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop and I started a second document. I called it Exit File. The exit file had 6 sections: financial records, joint accounts, retirement assets in his name versus mine, communication log, texts, emails, voicemails, screenshots forwarded to a private email, witnesses' names of people who had seen or heard dismissive behavior, legal consultation notes. I hadn't called a lawyer yet, but I would personal assets, things that were mine before marriage timeline. When I would be ready to leave, I did not fill in the timeline. I did not know yet when I would be ready, but I knew the gala was coming, and I knew Marcus would want to be seen there. My father's gala was not just a gala, it was the social keystone of the city's philanthropic calendar. The Ashford Foundation funded literacy programs in 12 counties, and every March my father hosted 300+ guests who wrote checks with 5 and 6 figures on them before dessert was served. My mother co-chaired, I coordinated logistics, Marcus attended as my husband and treated it like a networking event with a buffet. This year the gala was on March 16th, 6 weeks before I made the call to Shauna about the cameras. 4 weeks before I consulted a divorce attorney named Miriam Go. Miriam's office was in a restored brownstone on 6th Street. She offered me tea. I asked for water. "What brings you in today?" "Mrs. Pemberton." I handed her a printed summary from the exit. File 12 pages. She read in silence for 4 minutes. Then she looked up. "Has he hit you?" "Once grabbed my wrist hard enough to bruise September." "Do you have photos?" "Yes." "Has he threatened you?" "Not directly, but he has made it clear that leaving would be complicated." "Complicated how his name is on the house." "The cars." "The joint account has $4,000, but he controls the deposits. I have a trust for my grandmother, but he's made comments about it being marital property." Miriam wrote something on her legal pad, "Mrs. Pemberton, Claire. If you are planning to divorce a litigator, you need 3 things: documentation, liquidity, and a single decisive move. Do not leave in pieces. Do not warn him. Do not negotiate in your kitchen. Am not planning to good." She tapped her pen on the file. "What's your timeline after the gala?" Why after I met her eyes? Because I want to see if he can behave himself in public one more time. Miriam smiled. It was a small smile, the kind lawyers give when they know you have already won. "Let's talk, retainer." 3 weeks before the gala, Marcus started showing me who he really was. It started with the dress. I had purchased a gown for the event. Midnight blue, modest neckline, elegant. I had worn it to try on at the boutique, and my mother had said I looked like Grace Kelly. Marcus saw it hanging in the closet. "That's what you're wearing." "Yes, it's a little matronly, don't you think? I think it's appropriate." He laughed. "Appropriate, Claire? You're 38, not 68. I like it. I'm sure you do." He walked out. I wore the dress. 2 weeks before the gala, we had our last real conversation. We were in bed. He was reading a brief on his iPad. I was reading a novel. I would later realize I had not absorbed a single word of Claire. Emmon Leonard's wife asked if you'd be interested in co-chairing the firm's summer benefit. That's nice of her. I told her you'd love to. I set down the book. You told her. "I'd love to. It's a good opportunity. You'll meet the right people." "Marcus, I didn't say yes." "You don't need to say yes. It's a co-chair position. It's not a job interview. I have my own commitments." He set down the iPad. He turned to look at me. "Claire, you coordinate 1 gala a year for your father. Diane is offering you something real." "My work is real. Your work is volunteer adjacent." I looked at him for a long moment. "Go to sleep, Marcus." He did. I did not. March 16th arrived like a stage call. I woke at 6 a.m. I went to the hotel at 8. I checked every centerpiece, every place card, every lighting cue. At 10 a.m., Shauna from Belvedere Security found me near the stage. "Mrs. Pemberton, your supplemental cameras are live. 4 angles, full ballroom coverage. I can give you access to the feed from the security office or from this tablet." She handed me an iPad in a leather case. Both, I said. She showed me how to toggle between angles. Ballroom east, ballroom west. Stage left, entry hall, perfect. Will you need anything else? Just make sure the footage is saved in real time to the cloud backup, already configured. I thanked her. I went to the bridal suite the hotel had reserved for my mother and me to dress in. My mother was already there, steaming her gown. Darling, you look tired. I'm fine, Mom. Is Marcus coming early to help? No hell arrive at 6:30. She gave me a look. My mother had a doctorate in unspoken questions. Mom, I didn't say anything you don't have to. She set down the steamer. Claire, I have been married to your father for 41 years. I know what a partnership looks like, and I know what a performance looks like. I did not answer. She kissed my forehead. Wear the dress. You look like Grace Kelly. The gala began at 7 p.m. By 7:45, the ballroom was full. The city's mayor was at table 4. A state senator was at table 9. My father was at the podium thanking donors. Marcus arrived at 6:50 in his tuxedo, looking like a man who had been told his whole life he was important. He kissed me on the cheek. You look nice. He said, not beautiful, nice. Thank you. Is Leonard here yet? Table 12, he walked away. I spent the evening doing what I always did, managing. I cued the AV team, I signaled the caterers, I smiled at donors and made small talk with the editorial board of the Metro Times. At 9:30, my father finished his speech. The live auction began. At 9:43, I was standing near the bar when Marcus found me. He had been drinking, not drunk, but loose, Claire. We need to go say hello to Leonard and Diane. I will in a moment. Am waiting for the auctioneer to finish. Now Claire, Marcus. Am coordinating. His hand closed around my upper arm. You're my wife, you'll coordinate later. I looked at his hand, then at his face. Let go, don't make a scene. Let go of my arm. He did, but his jaw did the thing I had learned to read. We walked to table 12. Leonard and Diane greeted us warmly. We made small talk. Marcus laughed too loud at Leonard's joke about municipal tax law. Then Diane said, Claire, I heard you might be interested in co-chairing our summer benefit. I smiled. Marcus may have misunderstood. I haven't committed to anything. Marcus' hand went to the small of my back. It pressed hard. She's being modest, Marcus said. She'd be thrilled. Actually, I said gently, I'll need to check my schedule first. Marcus' smile tightened. Leonard, sensing the temperature, changed the subject. 5 minutes later, Marcus excused us. He walked me toward the hallway outside the ballroom. His hand was on my elbow. Tight. What the hell was that I told you I didn't commit? You embarrassed me. I stated a fact. We were in the hallway now, a service corridor. Quieter, Claire. I am so tired of you undermining me. Am not undermining you. Am living my own life, your own life. Your life is my career. This foundation and showing up when it matters. Marcus, no, you don't get to do this. Not tonight. His voice was rising. A server passed with a tray of champagne flutes. She did not look at us. Lower your voice, I said. Don't tell me what to do. We are at my father's gala. I don't care whose gala it is. And then he did it. He slapped me, not closed fist, open palm, across my right cheek. The sound was small and sharp, like a book dropped on a hardwood floor. I stumbled back half a step. Marcus froze. For maybe 3 seconds, we both stood there. Then he said, Claire, I turned and walked back into the ballroom. My cheek was hot. My eyes were dry. I did not run. I did not cry. I walked to the security office. Shauna was at the desk. Mrs. Pemberton, are you? I need the footage from camera 3, hallway angle, last 10 minutes. She pulled it up. There it was. Marcus' hand, my face, the step back, clear, undeniable. Can you download this to a secure file and send it to this email? I handed her a card with my private Gmail. Yes, Mom. Do it now, please, and save a second copy to the cloud backup with a timestamp. Done. I thanked her. I went to the bridal suite. I locked the door. I looked in the mirror. My cheek was red, slightly swollen. I took 3 photos with my phone, different angles, timestamp visible. Then I fixed my makeup. I went back to the gala. Marcus found me 20 minutes later near the silent auction tables. Claire, can we talk? Not here. I'm sorry, I was out of line. Yes, you were. Let me take you home. No, I'm staying until the event ends. You can leave if you want. Claire, go home. Marcus, he left at 10:40. I stayed until midnight. I did not go home that night. I went to my parents' house. My mother took one look at my face and put the kettle on. Tell me I told her all of it. The records, the lawyer, the cameras. She did not cry. She did not gasp. She said, "What do you need?" "I need to stay here for a few days, and I need you to not tell Dad yet." Done the next morning, I sent the footage to Miriam Go. She called me within an hour. "Claire, this is airtight. We file for divorce, we file for a restraining order, and we make it very clear that any narrative he tries to spin will be contradicted by video evidence. Do it one question. Do you want this public? I thought about that. Not unless he forces my hand. Understood." Marcus called 47 times in 3 days. I did not answer. On day 4, Miriam's office served him with divorce papers and a temporary restraining order. On day 5, he sent an email. Subject, please read, Claire. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is insane. We can work this out. I made a mistake. I've apologized. You're throwing away 12 years over one bad moment. If you pursue this, it will be ugly. My firm will bury you in legal fees. Your father's foundation will be humiliated. Everyone will know you're the one who walked away. Call me M. I forwarded it to Miriam." She replied in 6 words, "He just made this easier." The divorce moved quickly. Marcus tried to claim the house, the cars, the joint account. Miriam filed a motion with the footage attached under seal. His attorney saw it within a week. Marcus agreed to settlement terms. "I kept my grandmother's trust. I took half the joint account. I walked away from the house. I didn't want it. It had never been mine." The final hearing was on June 4th. Marcus showed up in his best suit, looking like a man who believed he could still win on closing arguments. The judge reviewed the settlement. "Mr. Pemberton, do you agree to these terms?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Mrs. Pemberton?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Then this marriage is dissolved." I walked out of the courthouse. Marcus called after me. "Claire, wait." I stopped. I turned. "What was it worth it?" I looked at him, really looked at him. Yes, I got in my car. I drove to my new apartment. Small, quiet mine. I made tea. I sat by the window, and I realized I had not said his name out loud in 2 weeks. That was 4 months ago. I still coordinate my father's gala. This year's is already being planned. I took the development director role at the Ashford Foundation. I earned it. Marcus is still at Hartwell and Crane. He tells people we grew apart. I let him. 3 people know about the footage, my mother, Miriam, and me. I have not released it. I do not need to. The divorce is final. The restraining order expired. I kept my name, Ashford, not Pemberton. Let me tell you something about cameras. Cameras do not lie, but they also do not speak unless you give them a voice. I installed those cameras because I knew, not suspected, knew that a man who diminishes you in private will eventually do it in public. And when he does, you need proof, not for him, for you, because the world will ask you to explain yourself. It will ask you why you left. It will ask you if you're sure, and when you say yes, it will ask you to prove it, so I did. If you are watching this in your car, in your kitchen, in the quiet hour after everyone else is asleep and some part of this story felt familiar, subscribe to Echo of Justice Stories. This channel is a witness. The door is open. The cameras are rolling. Tell me in the comments, what city are you in and what time is it where you are? I read every single one tomorrow. I'll tell you about the email Marcus sent 6 weeks after the divorce and what I did with it. Come back. I'll be here.